All right, so how can you get started? In this video, we're going to talk about how you can use your planning sheet and start to vary the way your students are going to learn the information. Most likely, you would start with having them vary their practices, getting comfortable with making the choice of how to practice their skill, getting comfortable with self-assessing and deciding if they're ready to move on. And once they are comfortable with that, the next step would be to vary the way they learn the new skill. And this can be really fun because you can put the ownership on them and give them the choice and the motivation to learn a skill on their own. So that's what we're going to look at today. So what do you need to get started for this video? You need a blank planning sheet that you can follow along as I fill in mine, and then also something to write with. So the first thing you're going to do is think of a math unit that you know off the top of your head, maybe an upcoming unit that you can use this for, and that you know you have some resources for. And then you're going to think, what are the two first lessons in that unit? So my unit is going to be adding and subtracting whole numbers. My first lesson is estimating sums and differences, and my second lesson is just adding whole numbers. So those are the first two lessons that I'm going to think about. Here I have my planning sheet. My unit is adding and subtracting. My first lesson is estimating, and my second lesson is going to focus on adding. So now I want to come up with at least two ways that the students can learn. I know that I can do a mini lesson, and I do a mini lesson for every single one of these because that's how I'm comfortable teaching, and that's how most students are comfortable learning. However, there are other options for having students learn a new skill. Direct instruction is always how we're used to teaching. But instructional videos are a great way for students to learn something. Especially, they can always come to you if they didn't understand the video. Khan Academy has many videos. YouTube and TeacherTube have many videos already, but you can also make your own so you feel in total control over how the student is learning the new skill. Many workbooks have directions on how to learn a skill as well. So some of your, especially your strong readers, can go to the workbook and learn the skill from there. You can also utilize other students. Students have already mastered that skill. Maybe they're a little bit ahead. They can work with students to help teach the new skill. And also thinking about Google. Very, very often, that's how adults learn things. And so Google can be a great way for students to learn. However, that might lead to a video, which that's okay too. So I'm thinking, going back to my planning sheet, I definitely can do a mini lesson, but because the lesson is on estimating and my students would have just finished a unit on rounding, I can also create a how-to sheet for them to do this because they know basic adding and subtracting, and they know how to round, and that's really the skill that this is being used here. So if I used a how-to sheet, walking them step by step, that could be another option for them to learn estimating. And if it didn't work for them and they read the how-to sheet and they realize they're still not sure, then they can come join a mini lesson or even get a quick refresher. When I think about my second lesson, again, they have some background on adding. So these are great lessons to practice different learns because it's not a brand new concept for them. So then I would do a video on the website for the class, and that would be another option where they would have their notebook there and they would be working on writing down problems and adding, and they would be able to see the answers in the video as I played it. So what you can do now is look at your planning sheet, think about the unit that you're focusing on, and besides a direct instruction mini lesson, think about one other type of learning you could offer your students. And you want to remember, students have the choice of learning a skill in different ways, but they can always come to you if that way did not work. And they should know that, and you want to remember that. And also, you want to choose the learn options based on that skill. So if it is something that is brand new, maybe a video or a how-to sheet doesn't work. But if it's a skill that is a review from the year before, that's a great way to start with something different because the students already have some knowledge. You'll feel better and they'll feel better.